This is DJ the Prodigy Pen, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hey, this is Cain Velasquez, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chuck Liddell, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, he's Vanderlei the Ex-Murder Silver, and you're listening Ringside Report Radio.
This is Tito Ortiz, the People's Champ, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Uriah Faber, the California Kid, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
This is Randy, the Natural Couture, and you're listening to the Ringside Report.
Hi, this is Vitor Belfort, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Jacques Fabian, and welcome to Ringside Report Radio.
Hope you're ready for the next episode. Hey.
What are you doing, AJ? Why are you singing before the show even starts? Welcome to Ringside Report Radio. AJ singing along with the music.
He's doing the chorus.
AJ, did you not know your mic was on when that happened?
I could have went into full belt out tune there, but I keep forgetting who the heck sings this song.
Oh my God! Really, you don't know?
I don't, because I wouldn't have chosen this as the theme song. But hey, that's
well, I know
show.
You wouldn't have chosen this song. What would you have chosen for the theme song instead?
Like rap or rock? Tell
Whatever.
me.
Just pick a song.
Go for rap.
Yeah, go for rap.
I'd probably
Vanilla Ice.
That's a very, very good choice, Dave.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
That's why you don't pick the music.
Imagine coming into
That's why you don't pick
Baby.
the music on this show, AJ.
Freddie, it's a good song.
What about Informers?
Oh, that's a good one, too, man.
We're just going to stay into the vanilla
Well,
rap.
listen, and if I go rock, you want to know what I would do with rock?
Go for it.
No.
TSN 690, Ringside Report, Back in Black by AC/DC.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
This is Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Snoop? It's Snoop?
Yeah, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Muscles Marco in the house.
Is he
I'm
a
Dave
medical
Simon.
doctor?
Fred Garcia's here, and AJ DeLesio, as you know, is here. We're here over the next hour talking MMA, probably.
And the
or
flooding.
Music.
Or the flooding of Montreal, Dave.
Or music. Maybe me and Fred will do like a Waylon Jennings sing-along or something. Hey, Fred?
Yeah.
Dave, I thought you were going to belt out like Montreal's flooding.
Yeah, well, we are in a state of emergency. State of emergency.
Noah, build that ark.
So, like, if your house is flooding...
the Army out there?
I think the Army is out there, man. The mayor... Hold on, Marco, where's your mic? Where are you? Are you here?
I'm right here. They're filling up sandbags.
Baby. Yeah, they're filling up sandbags. I saw our buddy Glenn out in Gracie, Baja, West Island. He's, like, sandbagged his whole gym like a fortress.
You know what? I was telling that to Marco.
People out in the West Island are struggling with the flooding. People all over the city. But when my mayor, Valerie Plante, declared a state of emergency, I'm sitting at home like, yeah, really? Are we all right? Am I cool? I think
the last time that happened,
a lot of us in
you got enough provisions?
Yeah, well, it's not flooding where I am.
Well, not yet, Dave.
No, I don't think it's going to.
Like I was saying before, but you didn't believe me. 10,000 years ago, I want to say that
in the south. All right, settle down. But in like the southwest borough of Montreal, you know, and it's not flooding there. It's not really flooding much in Montreal. It's like the West Island and a Huntsick and different places.
It could happen.
Yeah.
See, now I'm wondering, does Mr. Flat Earth AJ have a bunker ready? You know, like you got like an emergency stuff.
So let me get back.
You believe in a flat Earth? Are you also like a prepper? Are you a doomsday prepper?
I used to be a prep back in the days. Yeah, that's true. I used to wear Ralph Lauren, but I don't.
No,
understand.
I don't think
what
you
are you
understand.
You
know, a doomsday prepper. What do you say, Marco?
I mean,
AJ's day by day. He doesn't plan ahead for the future.
Yeah.
Listen, can I say my 10,000 year ago story?
No, I don't want to hear it. Because
Seriously.
It's nonsense. You were trying to tell us a story about what happened.
I'm Googling it. I'm trying to...
Listen,
I can't confirm
10,000 years ago, Dave, where you're presently living, you would have been under like at least 100 feet of water. Because 10,000 years ago, Lake Champlain rose up all the way up to Sherbrooke Street, which became the beaches of what we call Montreal today.
I don't believe you.
Don't believe me. It's the truth, man.
Because
AJ knows. AJ is always right.
Is AJ always right? Because last week on the show, you were talking about the Alistair Overeem fight that happened last weekend.
With my buddy Wally, which we miss very much.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Now, Overeem fought Alexei Oleinik in the main event of the UFC St. Petersburg card last weekend. And we were all picking Alistair Overeem to win, except for you. This is what you said, AJ, just so I can... I'm going to refresh your memory.
Yeah, I can tell you right now.
There's a lot of weird settle down. Listen to what you said last week. Okay, this is AJ last week being wrong.
The thing is that there's a lot of wear and tear on this man. I love him, but you know what?
That chin isn't what he used to.
You know, there's a big difference, and someone once told me this, and they said there's a big difference between a striking body and a grappling body. A grappling body can go the distance in age, where a striking body.
But are you saying he's going to get knocked out? Because I could see Overeem getting knocked out, but I don't see Overeem getting submitted by Oleinik.
In fact, that's what I was going to say, is that this fight is going to end that way. He's going to be submitted. This is a total stand-up to grappling match, like Dave said. But you know what? The wear and tear on Overeem is showing, and tomorrow it's going to be probably one of his last fights.
Oleinik.
Damn. All right.
AJ, you got
it. Ready? You said what? Are you sure that's me?
Yeah, that was you, AJ.
I don't
last
know.
week
It
on the
doesn't sound
show.
like me.
And hold on, it gets worse, AJ. It gets worse.
Said
everybody's
Overeem?
going with the Reem except for you.
Guys?
Yeah, I got Overeem.
You got Overeem? So listen.
Rob's got Oleinik with you, AJ.
You got Oleinik? There you go. So if you want, remember the segment.
What do you think, Roy?
AJ's always right.
I got Alistair Overeem.
So we do remember the segment, AJ. That was last week on the show where you were bragging about how you're always right, and you predicted Alexei Oleinik to submit Alistair Overeem, where I predicted an Alistair Overeem knockout. Fred predicted an Alistair Overeem knockout. And what happened, AJ? Alistair Overeem knocked out Alexei Oleinik. So the next time you want to come on the show and say, AJ's always right, AJ's always right, we're always going to have this one as a backup. And as we know, Fred, this is going to be a new segment on the show. AJ's always wrong because he's always claiming to be right.
One a week.
Listen, I got a theory on that win.
No, this is going to happen once a week because at least one time a week on the show, you say something so blatantly wrong, and it's very easy to check up on you. So then the following week, we'll have
take this as your
AJ's always
take this
wrong.
as your Haley's comment tonight. That's it. Listen, even George went down. That means
let's go deep on this. What's Haley's comment, AJ?
It was a comment that came way, way back, and we have a history here in Montreal.
When?
If you look back,
when?
A long time ago, Dave, before you were born.
10,000 years ago? You don't even know.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. So I might have made a little error in judgment.
You might have.
But my theory is this:
it's
is that
fine, and you can make
at what
your
point
picks.
did Oleinik out-grapple Overeem?
Yeah.
He almost knocked him out because Overeem's chin is suspect. You know, like he was sending some big bombs.
But I was talking about the Ezekiel choke, Fred. He almost had the Ezekiel choke, but he was hurt. It was coming in.
Overeem's a veteran.
This is the good part about this show. AJ's always wrong. Fred's always right.
What?
No, I'm not.
He's usually right.
Usually I'm right.
No, I'm not.
I think it's because he agrees with me. That's why I feel like Fred's always right. Fred and I agree.
I just don't double down once I'm wrong.
Dave,
once I'm wrong, I just don't talk about it no more.
And you also, when you're saying your prediction, saying, yeah, I think this is going to happen, I think this is going to happen, you don't double down on that and say, remember this, Freddie's always right. AJ going, AJ's always right. And then the next week we're like, yeah, you got that wrong.
Yeah, but
AJ.
Dave, you're a
once
flip-flopper.
proven wrong, he continues. That's the biggest problem, I think, with AJ.
He never admits he's wrong.
Listen, you're a flip-flopper, Dave. You go, sometimes you'll go left, and then at the same time, you'll go right. So, look, I went with...
It's called edging your bet.
Yeah, it is. It's edging
It's called doing a radio show where you're trying to present all arguments of a fight and explaining why the fight is compelling. But at the end of the prediction, I usually give one answer.
Ooh.
And I gave the Overeem answer last week.
Yeah, but let's not forget, these guys have been training together for a long time. Maybe he didn't have the heart to hurt Overeem. Overeem said it, that he didn't have the heart to hit.
Oh, my God.
He said
That's
it,
what
man.
it is. Once again, AJ, you're wrong, but you cannot admit you're wrong, so you're making excuses. A classic AJ move.
How about just giving props to Overeem on a big win?
I give him
Huge
props.
win for Overeem.
And what's going to happen with him now? Does he maybe get a chance at Daniel Cormier if the Brock Lesnar fight never happens?
No, he's not in line.
You know who
for
would
that.
be great?
I mean,
you
he's
know
never
who
fought
great?
Cormier. I'd like to see it.
You know who would be great, Fred? Somebody that we saw fight. Somebody that I think would be a great way to get into the UFC to
Cyril
fight.
Gane.
Exactly, Dave Simon. You
not-
got it
no,
right.
that's
Haley's
a-
coming.
Why would
come back.
Overeem want to fight Cyril Gane?
Exactly.
Why not?
Well, because he has nothing to gain.
He has nothing to gain.
Yeah. Now, Cyril Gane is a very good heavyweight. He's a TKO heavyweight champion here locally. It's a Quebec promotion.
Well,
it's a Canadian
France.
promotion.
He's from France. Dave.
He's from France. But he's very dangerous, and he's not very well known. For Alistair Overeem to take him would make no sense, especially coming off this big win.
Because
but it's not.
Bigger risk.
Listen, he's 39 years old, guys. He's like.
Oh yeah, and Overeem wants to finish his career by beating Cyril Gane now.
You know what's ridiculous?
No offense to Cyril Gane, he's a great fighter.
Yeah,
but he's not world class known right now.
Frank's talking about Overeem after that win, facing the UFC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're talking about him fighting a guy making his UFC debut. But it doesn't make sense.
No,
AJ.
because Overeem.
You want Overeem to fight at Claude Robillard Center?
No, listen. Overeem said it himself that he does not have a chance to get back into title contention. Let's be honest. He's not going to make it to that.
Why not? One other big win.
He said it himself. So, you know what? He knows
He's
something.
never fought Daniel Cormier. Give him another big win, and I want to see him fight Cormier.
It's going to be a bad fight for
I don't know.
Overeem.
I feel like when he steps up to that level, he struggled. He got beat up by Stipe, got knocked out by Ngannou, got beat by Curtis Blades. I don't want to see Overeem fight Daniel Cormier. I don't think he's next in line. I think if the Brock Lesnar fight falls through for DC, they're probably going to throw Stipe Miocic at him, and that makes a lot more sense than Alistair Overeem.
But if it was a 20-year-old Overeem, it'd be different.
How about this? How about the winner of Dos Santos and Ngannou maybe fights Overeem, or the loser of Dos Santos and Ngannou? I'd like to see a rematch.
I think that would be awesome.
Overeem's fought both of those guys. A rematch there wouldn't be so bad. Outside of that,
look,
I don't know, man. The heavyweight division's not super deep in the UFC. Who else is there?
It's not deep, but I mean that's why it was interesting with Cyril Gane, because there was rumor that
he should be in the UFC.
He should be in the UFC, and there is rumor that
he probably will get there soon.
He
but
really
right now
manhandled.
So let's focus on.
But he manhandled one of those three guys already, so that's a rumor out in France.
AJ,
come on, guys.
Who did he manhandle?
Who's in his camp? Dave,
and
tell Fred who's in his
camp. Who
camp.
told you that he met? Like, you're coming out with these big statements,
I know.
but
that's somebody that we had on our show that said that.
Oh yeah.
No, he tiptoed around it. You're talking about Stéphane Patry, the TKO president, who says that Cyril Gane, who's a TKO heavyweight champion, has had his way with a training partner, Francis Ngannou, right? That was the kind of understanding. AJ tiptoes around stuff for no reason.
Tiptoe
and I'm just going to say it because that's what we're doing here.
Dave, listen, back to Stéphane Patry, which I think is that you brought up his name.
Big news for TKO, right? Because they're interim lightweight champion and their current featherweight champion is going to the UFC. Shout out to Charles Air Jourdain.
Félicitations.
Yeah, very nice. He's going to get his UFC debut, and he's going to be taking on...
he's taking on...
Desmond Green.
Yeah, who's pretty much a veteran.
Desmond Green is from the Rochester, New York area, and this fight is taking place in Rochester May the 18th. UFC Fight Night Dos Anjos versus Lee. So Charles Jourdain, a very good fighter for TKO, going to be making his debut here for the UFC.
What weight class?
155.
155 pounds. Now, I am hopeful for Charles. I love to see Quebec guys do well. But I'm looking at this scenario, and I don't like it for a few reasons. One, he just fought April 11th. He fought into the 5th round. He did get the win. He finished the guy in the 5th round, but he still fought 4.5 rounds of MMA on April 11th. And now...
with a heavier guy, by the way.
Of course, with a heavier guy. And now he's going to fight on May the 18th, just over a month later, in his UFC debut at 155 pounds. I don't like it for the short notice. I don't like it because he just fought recently, and I also don't like it at 155. I think he's a little undersized for 155. I think at 145, he could be a real threat in the UFC featherweight division. But I think 155, A, the division is so deep, and B, there are some big old guys at 155 pounds. Fighting for TKO at 155 is different than fighting for the UFC, so... I wish Jourdain luck, and I hope that he can do it. But
isn't he replacing somebody?
No,
yes.
Not at all.
Yes, he's replacing somebody.
He's coming in
injured.
on short notice. He's replacing an injured fighter to fight Desmond Green.
So when
who
opportunity
really wanted,
is there,
and they needed Desmond Green on this card so that he could, he's got a lot of fans in Rochester. Like, it's a way into the UFC, but it's not an easy first step into the UFC for Jourdain, who I think is better at 145.
But it just goes to show that, like you said, Fred, it's an opportunity. The UFC comes calling, you're going to take it. And you know what? The UFC must have been following Jourdain for a while because this guy is impressive. Yeah. And you're right, he's fighting at 155, but he signed a contract for 4 fights. The first fight is at 155, and apparently the following fights are at 145. So
we'll see what happens after.
Yeah, depending on what he does, because Desmond Green is 22-8. Let's not forget, he's beat Ross Pearson. He's beat who else has he beat? He's
decent. He's good. He's beat some guys.
It's going to be Jourdain's toughest fight, probably. I would say up to date. So
he beat Dibao. I mean, so if Jourdain could beat Desmond here, it'll be impressive at 155. So he can make a statement.
Yes. It would be very good for him to get this win. He's definitely in tough.
And if you're Charles
for his first UFC fight. But he has to take it, right? Like,
you're not going to say no to the UFC.
Nope.
Come on.
Because if you say no, they might turn you down. What was the story with Jesse Ronson? Didn't he have a fight with the UFC, but he was sick or hurt, and then they replaced him, and then they never called him back?
Listen, right now the UFC is...
Like, if you say no, sometimes they'll just say they'll turn you down. But at the same time...
There's thousands of fighters now, right?
Yeah, sure. At the same time, they can give you a 4-fight deal. You can have that fight, and they can cut you.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
but
you got to say yes, but you also have to look out for yourself. Like, they didn't give him an easy first spot in the UFC, but if he can be successful... Well, his career is set.
And let's say he's just like semi-successful. Hey, that's going to be something already. He's into the UFC. He could build his brand worldwide instead of just locally. So if I'm Jourdain, I'm saying yes. I'm jumping on the opportunity.
It's a win no matter what. Even if you lose the fight, it's a win. I think he'll probably win the fight. He's very, very good. He's going to be tough to beat. He's won at 155 pounds, and the guy he fought was supposed to be...
He was big.
Yeah, but he wasn't even supposed to be his opponent. He took him
last minute,
like
right? Really last minute. And he was a big boy. He was above 155, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was big, but...
and Jourdain fought a beautiful fight. I mean, 5 rounds of action here.
I think Jourdain could be really dangerous at 145 in the UFC, though, too.
Absolutely. And look, for his first fight, you're coming from TKO, and credit to Stéphane Patry, because he's produced some pretty impressive fighters. You go from... way back to Georges St-Pierre, Patrick Cote, David Loiseau, and all the rest, man. Here we go. And
don't forget, we have another guy.
Olivier Aubin-Mercier.
But what about Marc-Andre Barrios?
That's another one.
He's going to be making his UFC debut. He's a TKO double champion. He takes on Andrew Sanchez next week, May the 4th in Ottawa. UFC going to Ottawa next week. It'll be Barrios versus Sanchez. You got Ali Quinta versus Donald Cerrone in the main event.
It's going to be awesome.
A lot of Canadian talent, a lot of Quebec talent. Charles Jourdain, Marc-Andre Barrios. Start looking out for these guys because, people are always asking, who's the next guy from Quebec? Who's that next talent? Well, we're talking about them right now. Charles Jourdain, who just signed his deal. He's going to start for the UFC May 18th. And then next week, another top prospect from Quebec, Marc-Andre Barrios. And he's going to be taking on Andrew Sanchez May 4th in Ottawa. So those are 2 top prospects for Quebec in the UFC that all of us as Quebecers, as Montrealers, as Canadians should be looking out for.
Absolutely, and that shows a lot for TKO. I mean, TKO is really a breeding ground for like the future of UFC fighters. Come on, let's look at it this way. We saw an amazing show. We saw great talent getting to the UFC.
Yes.
TKO MMA should be the place to fight. Let's give him credit. Let's give Patry some credit there.
I like TKO.
It was awesome. We saw Jourdain fight. We saw Cyril Gane fight.
Yeah, we got to see.
We saw Marc-Andre Barrios fight. We saw Panda fight. We've seen so many guys fight.
And people are always like, "Whoa, I want to see UFC," or But look, we just saw Charles Jourdain his last fight before the UFC.
Is that incredible or what?
That was like 2 weeks ago, right here in Montreal.
And we had great seats, too. Like, Patry took care of us.
Of course.
So we're not giving him credit just because he gave us good seats. We're giving him credit because...
You are.
No, man. Let's look at it. We have
he
a lot of
called you
fighters.
a fanboy last time he was on the show.
Because I wanted to...
He was making fun of you, calling you a fanboy.
Well, I wanted him to know that we're good-looking guys, too. Like, come on, Patry. Put us in front. You want to see Dave Simon with his beard? You want to see Fred with his glasses? Want to see AJ with his cowboy hat? Come on, man. Put us in the front. Muscles Marco there with no shirt on?
No one wants to see AJ with his cowboy hat.
Come on, Wally does. He told me he came to Montreal wanting to see me with my cowboy hat.
We had the whole crew in last week.
What an
We had a
amazing time.
big party last week for Ringside Report Radio.
We drank proper 12. We had Alto Pizza.
Yes.
Come on. It was incredible.
Shout out to Alto Pizza. The pizza was delicious.
Matthew Mattis.
Matt Mattis. We always love when Alto drops in. It was a good time last Friday. We had, Wally and Amy from Ireland. We had Antoinette and Roy from Toronto. We had Rob from Quebec City.
It's incredible.
And we even had
Fred from Longueuil. We had Marco from Notre Dame de Grace. Oh, Brossard, excuse me.
We had Marco and his son, Mini Muscles, a.k.a. Luca Muscles, a.k.a. Luca Brains, a.k.a. Luca Brazzi. And I'm wondering, where's Luca Muscles today? I thought he was my
You're asking too many questions now, Dave.
I thought he was my new bodyguard. Where's my man, Luca Brazzi?
He's in school. But,
is he telling people that they're sleeping with fishes?
In the city right now, it could happen.
Don't tell me that Luca Brazzi sleeps with the fishes, Marco.
No. Just had a long week at school.
All right. Well, shout out to you, Luca, man.
But it was an amazing show.
He was very good last week.
And if people missed it, where can they find the podcast? Dave.
RingsideReport.net, YouTube.com/RingsideReport.net.
And if you go to YouTube and you listen to the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, you could go to iTunes. You could go to Google Play. You could do all sorts of different things. It's everywhere. RingsideReport.net is the home, and that's really the
universal.
That's the main spot you want to be at, right?
Yeah, but fast forward 5 minutes on the YouTube because someone is not on their mic, and it's not AJ. Because AJ's always right.
AJ, you're never right.
Who's right? Darren Till. How about that Darren Till thing? Is that incredible? I thought it was a joke.
What happened exactly with Darren Till? Because I paid attention, but I was like, okay, Darren Till got arrested. He allegedly stole a taxi cab, some sort of drunken rampage.
Trashed a hotel room.
Not in his home country either.
No, in Spain.
In Spain.
Hangover 4, that's what happened. Exactly. He went wild with his buddies, stole a cab, went wild, trashed the room. And you know who backed him up, by the way? Bisping. Bisping is like, you know what? Who hasn't trashed their room in their career? I don't know. I don't think George ever did.
Has Bisping
did you, Fred?
stolen cabs?
Fred trashed the room.
No, I've never done
it. That's how you trashed it.
I've never trashed a room either. I don't understand.
Doesn't make sense. But anyways, I don't know what that'll do for Darren's career. Maybe he's having like a burnout like Tony, maybe. I don't know.
He was undefeated, and then he lost 2 straight. He lost his title fight, and then he got knocked out by George Masvidal, so maybe something snapped.
Well, I mean, now we know that he doesn't have the talent in the cage to be a future dominating champ, and we know that he doesn't have the talent in the brain either, so
maybe,
AJ
maybe he could be
wrong
No,
again.
I'm going to be right. Maybe he could be a good cab driver from now on. Darren Till, your cab driver.
We need to find that clip of AJ calling Darren Till the future of the UFC.
He's going to be the future of like cab driving.
Do you remember when you called him the future of the UFC?
Yes, I did, but I'm still like holding up on that. I don't think it's all over yet.
Who else is the future of the UFC?
Charles Jourdain.
Luke Rockhold,
who's going to fight John Jones on July 6th.
Mackenzie Dern.
Well, she's pregnant.
Johnny
we wanted to do
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker's a strong possibility.
He's the only one I believe.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Mackenzie Dern is like she just had a baby, or she's having a baby.
Okay.
She's not mine, no.
We got to take a short pause here on TSN 690.
Would you let Mackenzie Dern in a car for an hour while you're doing a radio show? Where am I going?
What the heck? I missed that. What does that mean? Somebody write it out. What's Fred trying to say?
Do you really want me to explain it to you?
Je comprends pas de Longueuil.
Do you really want me to explain it to you?
Yeah. Go off air.
Should we go off air?
I don't know. Say it on air. What the heck? It's prime time.
Should I
Kids
say it
are
on
listening.
Okay. Well.
We
found out.
I got it.
Can I say it?
After the break.
Yeah,
after the break. When we come back, I will reveal AJ's dirty secret. Really awful. And we are going to reprimand you on the show when we come back.
Sponsored by Tide.
We're also going to preview some fights tomorrow night. Did you know Rory MacDonald was fighting Jon Fitch tomorrow?
Yeah.
For Bellator. We'll tell you about it. And we'll make our picks when we come back.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Daniel Cormier, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
2006.
This is WC Bantamweight Champion Dominic Cruz, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
This is Dan Henderson, and you're listening to Ringside Report.
This is Demetrius Fighting Master, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio. This is Ian McCall, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio.
Hey, this is Matt Serra, former UFC welterweight champion, and you're listening to Ringside Report Radio. Keep listening, or I'll throw you in an arm lock.
What?
You like that, AJ?
I love it, man.
Well, you never heard Matt Serra bring
He's the
us in?
best. Matt Serra, man, I love his videos. Have you ever seen his videos?
Have you ever met Matt Serra?
I would love to meet Matt Serra.
Because you and Matt Serra together would be an epic encounter.
You know what? If Matt Serra comes to Montreal, we go into a taxi cab with Darren Till, and we do the show straight from there. Sponsored by Proper 12 and Alto Pizza.
You know what Matt Serra told me one time when I was covering his fight with George St. Pierre back at UFC 83? I was young back then, right? UFC 83.
You're still young. It
was about 2008.
What were you, 11 years old?
2008. So, 11 years ago.
Oh, I thought 11 years old. Okay.
And this show was going on back then, right? How crazy is that?
Well, you're the oldest MMA show, I think, in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. We've been on for, since 06, so
but it wasn't that good back
years.
then until me and Fred came, but that's all right.
It's better now. It's definitely
and muscles.
It's definitely better now with you guys.
Thanks, Dave.
But I've always been awesome.
Come here. Pucker up, buddy.
So Matt Serra was like, he's like, hey, I go to ask a question to Matt Serra. He's like, hey, what are you here for? Your school paper? I was like, thanks, Matt Serra. Because I look quite young. I mean, I was maybe, 11 years ago? I was like 20, 21, 22 at the time. So
I thought you were still in your 20s.
Yeah. Okay. So could we?
Well, you listen to that Travis Scott stuff. What do you expect?
AJ is trying to. He's trying to butter me up, right? He's trying to.
No, go back to the Matt Serra thing.
He's trying to be nice. No, we're done with Matt.
What?
Serra.
That was it?
That's the story.
Wow, that was like boom, boom. Pow.
No, we've got a AJ story that we can reveal now on the show. Because we're finding out more and more about AJ. So, AJ, for the entire duration that you've been on this show with us, maybe, a year and a half now?
Yeah, you guys celebrated a year not long ago.
I don't know.
It was awesome.
You say a year and a half. Some people say 2.5 years. You never know with AJ, right? So AJ, the whole time you've been on the show, you have been in a relationship with a lady. The same lady that you're in a relationship right now, right? And we found this out a couple of weeks ago, right, AJ?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we confirmed this, and we announced that AJ has a girlfriend. We announced this on the show last week, and then we found out a little bit more. So you took your girlfriend to hang out with Wally on the weekend, right?
What you talking about, Willis?
Wally from Ireland. He came in to visit us with Amy, and
Wally's the best.
And you went and you met up with him with your girlfriend this week. We're not going to reveal her name. We're not going to reveal anything about her, other than the fact that one time when you went out with her before the show, you said, oh, I got to go do the show. So you drive to a parking lot near the radio station. You park. Because you're so secretive for no apparent reason, you told her she had to stay in the car. You didn't bring her up to the studio. You didn't have her meet us. You kept her in the car for over an hour, because when the show was done, you didn't even say, okay, guys, I got to go.
No, you were talking about George and all that kind of stuff.
We talk, and we're hanging out after the show like we normally do for 45 minutes.
Not sure if the SQDC was open, but I know what we were doing.
Exactly. It might not have been legal back then, Fred. Ixnay on the...
yeah, Ixnay.
So AJ left her in the car for 2 hours while he hung out and did the show.
Romeo.
Unnecessary.
Thank you, Marco.
Exactly, Marco. Romeo,
well,
right?
I think Romeo would have done the same thing back then if he had a car.
Unbelievable, AJ. So she revealed this story to Wally, who then revealed it to Fred, who then revealed it to me, and that's how the chain goes.
I can't believe that.
And that's why I asked, would you do that to Mackenzie Dern? Come on, answer.
I didn't get it.
You
now
better
I got
do it also to Mackenzie Dern. That's your answer.
What's so wrong with that? It's only an hour and a half. Come on, guys.
You're going to leave her in the car for an hour and a half? Why don't you
I'm trying to remember when it was. Was it in the cold months?
Was it in the winter?
I don't remember.
It was, wasn't it?
Well, look, I had the heating on. I gave her the keys.
While.
Come on, guys.
Girls like the bad boy.
Wow.
Dave.
AJ's not a bad boy. All right, let's be clear.
Dave.
AJ's just a bad guy. He's not like a cool badass. He's just a jerk.
Dave, let me give you the best date scenario. Here it goes. listening to Ringside Report on a Friday night in the car with heaters on.
You left her the keys at least?
I did leave the keys. That's romantic.
Yeah, the best date. You go out with your boyfriend, you have a nice night, and then he leaves you in the car for 2 hours while he goes and does a radio show with his buddies, and then he hangs out even longer afterwards, just shooting the breeze with them, and then he finally decides to step into the car. This is back when we were on at midnight, so it's like 1:30 in the morning at this point, and then he drives you home, and then he's like, hey, you want to have a little... And she's like, no, I hate you. It's over. But apparently that didn't happen. You're still together.
But listen. Think of the view. It was a beautiful view of the bridge and the changing colors. If you go like the YouTube and see Montreal, it's a beautiful view.
For 5 minutes, not for 2 hours.
What, Mark? You were listening to Ringside Report. It's entertaining.
Marco's not even on your side here.
What are you talking about? All I did tell her was this. Whenever a panhandler comes, do not lower the windows. And if a raccoon comes, like Wally knows, because Wally encountered a raccoon on that parking lot. Marco was witness. Yeah. Do not feed the raccoons.
That's another thing. You didn't leave her in a particularly safe neighborhood. This isn't like the best neighborhood.
It's
weird.
Nice.
There's weird people around here.
Well,
there's weird, you know.
Well, what's so bad about that, guys?
What do you
I left the car keys.
You left her in the car. Why didn't you bring her up to the studio?
Shuffle.
Just shuffling paper.
You're ashamed of us?
What is it? Who are you ashamed of?
You guys.
Us.
You know what? You guys, you're my homies, man. You're like my brothers.
You're
my brothers from another mother.
You are strangely secretive. It is bizarre.
Like Drake would say, my homies.
When I found out that you had done that, I was shocked.
I was shocked that you found out about it. That's what I was shocked.
Yeah. Well, she told Wally. Wally told Fred. Fred told me.
Wally, you shouldn't have said anything.
Well, how about she shouldn't have said anything?
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have left her in the car.
I thought it was a great date night, man. I thought it was a...
Perfect ending.
Obviously, she didn't feel the same way because she's recounting the story to Wally.
Look, it could have got worse. It would have been that date where I lost my tooth to. I mean, what do you want me to say?
It was that date.
It was that date.
Yeah, true. I forgot about that. So, look, how about me? Does anybody feel bad for me? I'm laughing at Kevin Hart and I lose a tooth.
No one feels bad for you.
Kevin Hart, man, you could have gave me some money or something to fix my tooth.
Were you in a freezing car? Were you in a freezing car for 2 hours?
No, I was in a warm studio here at TSN.
With coffee.
And I think we were drinking Uncle Benny's wine that night, too. That's what happened.
AJ, would you leave a dog in a car for 2 hours?
Well, my mom thinks I'm a dog every once in a while, but yeah, I would never leave a dog. No, because a dog doesn't know how to drive the car.
So your girlfriend, fine. A dog, no. Your girlfriend,
doesn't know
fine.
to drive a car.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
You haven't seen my dogs that do tricks.
Easy, Dave. This is not the Lori Bettito show here.
I'm developing a new act about to... Why'd you have to take it to a weird place?
It's AJ.
All right, let's get back to the MMA.
Is it MMA show again?
Yes,
I forgot it.
Sorry, AJ.
Jesus.
But your actions could not go unchecked. And just know, to your girlfriend, who I know is listening, I'm on your side, not on AJ's side.
What?
Always.
I thought you were my homie here, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned for her. I just
her
want
safety,
her sanity.
Yeah, like I want you to do the right thing. I just want you to be a good guy because honestly, AJ, if you screw this up in a bad way,
what are you talking about?
It will affect our friendship and how we treat you on the show because Fred is a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman. I put on Old Spice that night.
You're a gentleman.
Put on Old Spice.
Marco is a gentleman. I'm a gentleman. And you, right now, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder.
Whoa there, David Simon.
Fred, get him.
Listen, did you ever see that picture with me in a tux? That's gentleman status.
Look, I'm surprised. 2 years and a half?
Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
She could take that much of you. Like, honestly, like, you make some weird decisions. I'm your friend here. I'm just trying to help you. But you're making some weird decisions.
We love you, AJ. We want you to do better.
You guys are so kind.
We want better for her, really. For you, I mean, whatever. But I want her to have a better life.
Hey, what the hell are you saying?
I'm saying be a good man.
I'm always a good man.
Treat her with respect.
Marco.
Stand by you.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Speaking of disrespectful jerks that we don't want anywhere near us, Greg Hardy's fighting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Another co-main event for him.
Another co-main event for this guy who was kicked out of the NFL for being accused of beating up his wife. He's not fit for the NFL, yet he's fit for the UFC. And
that's not quite accurate.
No?
Well, I mean, he got suspended for a while from the NFL, but then he got a second chance, and then he was just not good enough, and that's why he's not in the NFL no more.
Okay, so he's been suspended by the NFL for domestic issues. He sucks at football, and now he's also,
he used to be good, but
he also sucks at MMA, by the way. His last fight, he looked awful. This guy is a terrible, terrible fighter, not a great guy. I don't like him at all.
Don't seem smart either.
Yeah, but
he seems like one of the dumbest guys on the UFC roster. He lost his last fight due to a disqualification. Could he hit a guy with an illegal knee after the guy was talking smack to him? This dumbo, Greg Hardy, was like, "Oh, I'm just going to hit this guy with an illegal knee. I don't care." Rah! He just went crazy in the octagon, got disqualified, and now the UFC is compensating this man with a co-main event spot. I don't want to see Greg Hardy. No.
And he might win, Dave.
Matt Hardy.
He's got
Jeff
a good
Hardy.
chance to win.
No Greg Hardy.
The Hardy Boys.
Yeah, sure, he'll win. Who cares? The UFC keeps pushing this guy. They're giving him fights he can win. That's what the UFC's trying to do. But I am going with Dmitry Smoliakov to beat up this Greg Hardy guy. Dmitry Smoliakov is a Russian. He's been fighting for a long time. He's a real fighter. Greg Hardy is not a real fighter. Greg Hardy's a big guy with some heavy hands, but survive the first 4 minutes and you're good with this guy. If you can wrestle, take him down, beat him up, cut him up, torture him, make him suffer.
Wow.
And then finish him. Finish the job. Kick him out of the UFC.
I feel confident enough after seeing, 4 fights he has, 3-1 record, to say that this guy's never going to be like a top 5, top 10 guy in the heavyweight division. He doesn't have that type of talent. So why does the UFC still give us Greg Hardy into big fights, like co-main events?
Because it's the ESPN.
Yeah, well, I'm going to blame ESPN also.
That's what it comes down to.
Because ESPN is probably trying to bank on his name, going, "Oh, we got this NFL guy. Sure. We're a sports station. Everybody knows him. Let's sell him." But at the same time, ESPN is the one that's always giving us these moral stories about guys, like mistreating their wives, mistreating their kids, and they're asking us to, be critical of that type of behavior, which we should be. But at the same time, they're giving us this guy as a co-main event. So shame on you, ESPN.
But are you saying ESPN and Disney are a hypocritical company? I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm getting to.
And the UFC is the UFC is complicit too. Watch out, Mickey Mouse is going to come get you, Fred.
He'll choke you out, Dave.
Fred,
get ready.
Mickey Mouse is a black belt, bro.
Yeah.
He's no joke, but, I don't want this guy as a co-main event. How come former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski is the co-main event of the prelim card, and this jabroni, Greg Hardy, who's got 4 fights in the game, is the co-main event of the main card? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. But
Andrei Arlovski, Augusto Sakai should be the co-main event of this card because it's Andrei freaking Arlovski. He's a legend of the game. He's a former heavyweight champion. Greg Hardy is a NFL wash-up.
But again, like we were saying, and everyone talks about it, ESPN, it's football. 87% of households have ESPN. It's football world, man. His name talks, and that's what happens. Morality is out the door, Dave.
He
it's
sucks.
Business.
I hope he gets choked unconscious tomorrow night.
That could happen.
See, I don't think he brings in that many viewers, so I
don't think he does either. I think he's a waste.
I think it's a dumb decision from ESPN to put this guy in that type of spotlight. Just a dumb decision from the UFC and ESPN.
Yeah, as a co-main, I agree with you.
He's a waste of space on that card. I don't want to see him, and I don't even want to talk about him anymore. He is the favorite.
Unless he loses. I'll talk about him for an hour if he loses.
Oh, yeah. If he loses, we're going to do a YouTube show and make fun of him constantly. Just like, oh, see Greg Hardy lose.
Slow-mo replay.
I will make fun of no one in MMA losing except for Greg Hardy. I will root for no one to lose except for this guy. Guys like that, yeah, I'm going to root for guys like that to lose. I hope Greg Hardy loses, and I hope he loses viciously.
I guess you don't like him, eh, Dave? Yeah. After all that,
How about, you know who I do like?
Who do you like?
Jacare.
Yeah.
Jacare Souza. That's a real fighter we should be talking about. The man. Jacare taking on Jack Hermansson in the main event. This is a big fight for Hermansson. It's a huge step up in competition. He's won 3 in a row now in the UFC. Tyler Schleites, Gerald Meerschaert, and David Branch, which was a real nice win. He tapped him with a guillotine in 49 seconds. Don't think he's going to be able to do that with Jacare, though, right? Jacare coming in as the favorite, minus 200. Jacare, one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the game.
For sure.
And, you know, his striking has been coming along, too. Very powerful, very strong. Knocked out Chris Weidman in his last fight.
He's got a rock-solid chin. I mean, it's hard to knock out Jacare.
I always love seeing Jacare Souza fight. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I got Jacare. Unfortunately, this fight was supposed to be either Jacare and Paulo Costa, and after that it was supposed to be Jacare and Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
So
no
I'm
juice
gonna
in
take
there, right?
Jacare versus Hermansson, but I'm not as hype as if would, you know, like Costa or Romero. That would have been great.
Way better. Way better. And Jacare wants a title shot. And a win over Costa or Romero would have made more sense. A win over Hermansson, I don't know where this puts him, but I think he'll probably be next in line for a title shot. We'll see Adesanya and Whitaker fight. And then Jacare, if he can beat Hermansson, will probably get the winner of that, right?
I'm pretty sure he will win, Dave. There's no doubt about it. And I think he'll have an opportunity to fight for the belt. I mean, he's 39 years old. Not that he's old. He's rock solid. Like, Jacare is in top shape. But
unbelievable.
You know, time is ticking, right?
30, like almost 40 years old. The guy is just jacked to the gills, man. The guy's always been in amazing shape.
No Turinabol, no whatever.
That we know of. You know, but no pico in the grams. Pico in the you still don't understand where the pico gram is.
But you know what? What it comes down to is this: is Jacare. Everybody loves Jacare. He's not robbing taxi cabs or knocking out like girlfriends and whatnot. He's a great fighter and a good representative of the UFC.
Call him the future of the UFC at 39 years old. Call him the future at 39.
He could probably get a title. He'll probably get a.
Just say you'll have a statue next to that Jesus statue in Brazil.
Well, they could. That's a good.
Okay,
Fred. That's a
just
great.
cut you off.
Good idea, Fred.
We've got some other fights on this card. This card tomorrow night in Sunrise, Florida. You've got Alex Cowboy Oliveira taking on Platinum Mike Perry.
That'll be good.
That's a great welterweight fight. Two guys that like to stand and trade. That'll be fun. Who's the favorite on this fight? Let's see. We've got
Oliveira.
Yeah,
I got Oliveira.
Minus 160, Perry plus 150. That's a good fight. You got Glover Teixeira taking on Ion Cutelaba.
Wow, that's amazing.
This is a good card.
Sure.
Ben Saunders taking on Takashi Sato.
Ben, our new friend on Ringside Report.
Yeah. Andrei Arlovski's on this against Augusto Sakai. Who's Augusto Sakai? 27 years old, from Brazil. 12-1-1 in the UFC. Oh, he's a Dana White Contender Series guy.
Yeah, 4-1-1 in Bellator.
He takes on Arlovski. Arlovski's last fight was a no contest with Walt Harris. Originally a split decision win for Harris, but he tested positive for something.
What a long career for Andrei, too. Unbelievable.
Andrei's not won since he beat Stefan Struve in March of last year.
See, I was going to say they should have put Arlovski against Greg Hardy, but then again, I would just be scared that Greg Hardy pulls off the upset and then all of a sudden
his stock goes
validity to his name.
Greg Hardy doesn't deserve to fight Andrei Arlovski. He's not in his league.
But
Sakai is the favorite, minus 145. Arlovski plus 125, the underdog. I don't know. I'm going to go with Arlovski. Why not?
Why not?
You know?
Pitbull.
He's still Andrei Arlovski, damn it. How about Glover Teixeira, Ion Cutelaba? That's a very good fight. Glover, the slight favorite, minus 125. Cutelaba's tough. 25 years old, 14-3. I think he's, Russian? Moldovan. Glover Teixeira. I mean, we know him. He's fought for the title. He's one of the best still at light heavyweight. Beat Carl Roberson in January. So this will be his second fight of 2019. I'm going to go with Glover. I don't know too much about Cutelaba, but...
Yeah, if Teixeira plays his game, you know he's going for the grappling game, and he's probably going to submit this guy.
Anything else on this card you guys excited about? How about Carla Esparza and Verna Jandiroba?
That'll be good.
Carla Esparza, former champion at strawweight. Jim Miller.
Solid
Solid jiu-jitsu black belt. He takes on Jason Gonzalez. Angela Hill taking on Jody Esquibel. Diego Lima and Court McGee. Man, this is a stacked card from the first fight to the last. Like, if you've been following MMA for a while, you know a lot of these names. You know Court McGee, Diego Lima, Angela Hill, Jim Miller, Andrei Arlovski, Carla Esparza, Gilbert Burns, John Lineker, Ben Saunders, Glover Teixeira. I mean, these are some OGs of the MMA game. You know, Jacare. A lot of these fighters have been names in the sport for a long time. So if you know the sport, if you've been following the sport for a while, this is a good card.
Yep, this is a card to watch for sure.
It's fun, right?
Yes,
Fred, you're usually down on these cards that are kind of like Fight Night, whatever, but this is a good one.
I'm not really down.
Well, they're not always this good, is what I'm saying. You know, like
I mean,
cards,
for a free card, it's an excellent card.
Yeah, the prelim card is awesome.
But you know what? Overall, ESPN is putting out some good cards for other than pay-per-view. So last week's fights, tomorrow's fights. I mean, these are good fights for the new MMA fans coming in.
Was that an ESPN card last week? I don't know. I watched it on UFC Fight Pass. It's hard.
Last week was a pay-per-view. No,
it was
you're right.
ESPN.
It was a Russia card.
It was Russia. And let's not forget, the co-main on that fight. That was an awesome fight.
You don't know where it actually aired last week.
That was ESPN Plus. It was on ESPN.
Yeah,
but not on ESPN TV.
Maybe the prelims. Let me tell you. Yes, the prelims were on ESPN too.
And what about this card tomorrow? Is it on ESPN Plus?
The early prelims are on ESPN 2. The preliminary is on ESPN, and the main card's on ESPN Plus.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is the prelim card on the ESPN TV channel and then the main card on the ESPN app? Wouldn't it be the prelims on the app and the main card on the TV channel?
They want to promote the app.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't have the numbers, but I think they got a very good amount of subscribers from what I was reading. So I think it's a success, and they're trying to get some subscribers on their internet portal. So
I was hearing that people that bought the pay-per-view from the ESPN Plus app, the last pay-per-view, that UFC 236, which was the first one on the app, they were having a lot of problems.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Issues.
Is it streaming?
Streaming issues, logging in. Like, you could order it on a desktop computer, but you couldn't order it on an iPad or something. So people were having trouble watching it on their phones or their, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense because you figure somebody like ESPN, like...
It's still pay-per-view like normal here in Canada, but over there, apparently, the first one, I think it did well. Like, a lot of people bought it, but people were having trouble streaming it.
You see, right now, they got over 2 million subscribers, I'm reading, for ESPN Plus, and they're hoping to get 12 million by 2024. So they want to add some good content on ESPN Plus, and that's why they signed with the UFC and other boxers and other stuff. You know, they're putting some good events on ESPN Plus.
Well, you know, these streaming apps are what we're headed towards, and we're seeing it not only with the UFC tomorrow night, but also with Bellator. It's going to be on DAZN.
Yep.
Which is annoying.
Hey, we were talking about Disney. It's a completely other subject, but Disney announced also they're going to have their own streaming service now with all the Disney movies. So this is the future for getting video service, I would say, is through the internet.
Well, I think about the things that I watch, and it's mostly on streaming services.
Yeah, but what about YouTube? I mean, we witnessed that Logan Paul or whatever his name is, not Paul Logan, our buddy, Logan Paul, but it still makes a difference because it hit over 1-something million subscribers,
and that's why people should go listen to Dave on YouTube when he has his show with Dave and Johnny live, because it's a great show. Dave is super talented.
Not the best looking guy, but he's really talented.
What?
I mean, he's kind of sexy.
Come on. Thank you, Fred. Fred is so cool. Fred is the best, eh? Fred's number one. Fred, what do you think tomorrow night? Rory MacDonald or Jon Fitch? It's going to be Bellator 220. It's the Bellator welterweight title fight. Rory MacDonald.
Isn't it also in the tournament?
It is also in the tournament. It's a quarterfinal.
And it's
but it's also for the championship.
I like that.
Because Rory is the champion. So it's Rory MacDonald versus Jon Fitch.
And that's his last fight, I believe, right?
What do you
That's
mean?
Rory's last contracted fight.
I mean, he's in the tournament, so I hope he has more fights.
No, but that's the last one after that fight. So who knows? Maybe the UFC will reconsider and bring him back. Now's the time for Rory.
I haven't read anything about that.
No,
AJ
I think that's AJ nonsense
not
once
at
again.
all, not at
Why
all.
would Bellator
Let's
have
not
their...
say nonsense, because he does know RV Keitel. We found out.
That's true. That is true.
Let's give him a little props.
But
keep going,
it
Dave.
wouldn't make
Keep
any
going,
sense
Fred.
for Rory MacDonald to not be signed for Bellator when he's in a tournament, and if he wins, he's supposed to fight Neiman Gracie.
Remember,
and he's the champion.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Bellator,
it's a UFC.
Doesn't Bellator have like a championship clause where they keep the guy or something?
Depends on the contract, Dave. If it's the last fight, what are you going to do?
So
You can do what you want.
Yeah. Instead of guessing about Rory MacDonald's contract, why don't you guess about the fight? Who do you think's going to win?
For sure, in my opinion, Rory.
Rory, right?
Yeah.
Fitch
it's Jon Fitch, right?
Fitch isn't
not
the guy.
easy.
He's not the guy he was 10 years ago. It's a different fighter. Rory MacDonald, a heavy favorite, minus 375.
Mind you, he got into a little fight with Faraz here in Montreal.
First of all, Rory said he has 3 fights left on his contract. So
is it?
It's far from being over.
Thank you, Fred.
And he said he plans on re-signing with Bellator because he's very happy.
Yeah, they always say that till money is thrown.
Fact-checking.
But he does have 3 fights left.
Okay, so it's not
so
that
this
many.
is not his last fight on
I
his
thought
contract.
it was his last. All right.
Yeah.
It was.
This is why you shouldn't bring out facts that you aren't sure
Hey,
of.
listen, I can give you the fact that Jon Fitch is
this
upset
our
with
AJ
Zahabi.
is dead wrong for next week?
Oh, no.
Well,
Why,
it's another
Thanks,
AJ's
AJ.
dead wrong
Thanks,
for
Fred.
this week.
Thanks.
It's another one for this week,
No,
Fred.
I'll be right that Rory's going to win this fight.
Yeah,
That's for
well,
sure.
we're all picking Rory to win, but you also said this is the last fight on his Bellator contract, and Fred exposed you as being dead wrong once again.
Well,
he got you. Yeah, got you again. Jon Fitch has won a bunch of fights in a row, though. Yushin Okami, João Zeffirino, Jake Shields, Brian Foster, Paul Daly. He's won 5 in a row. This guy hasn't lost since 2014. Rory MacDonald did lose his last fight to Gegard Mousasi.
Look, I'm going to go with MacDonald. I think he's a better fighter, but hey, you're right. Jon Fitch on a good streak. He's a good fighter also, but if you ask me who's the better fighter at their prime, I'm going to pick Rory MacDonald, and I still think he's more in his prime than Jon Fitch is. So
Fitch is 41 years of age.
Is he 41 already?
And Rory, for as long as he's been fighting, AJ
under 30.
He's 29.
Exactly.
He's been a pro since 2005. He's 29 years of age. He made his UFC debut in 2010. Almost 9 years ago, he was in the UFC, and he was 20 at the time. He's 29 fighting a 41-year-old. I'm going to go with Rory MacDonald. Odds makers like him as well. Elsewhere on this card, you've got Benson Henderson against Adam Piccolotti.
That'll be good.
Piccolotti 11-2. You got Phil Davis and Liam McGeary. That's a really good fight. And Ilima Leigh McFarlane, the Bellator flyweight champion, defending against Veta Arteaga. So that's all going down tomorrow night for Bellator 220. So we've got UFC in Florida, and then you've got Bellator, and that's going to be in San Jose tomorrow night. So a serious docket of MMA for us tomorrow. And then next week, we've got the UFC Fight Night in Canada. AJ, you and I are going to go see Johnny North wrestle. Are we all going to see Johnny North next Saturday?
You bet, man.
Fred,
Big John.
Fred, you're not coming?
Fred's coming. Come on, Fred.
Fred, I got a ticket for you. You don't want to come?
We have, John went out of his way to get us,
next
a VIP
is
table.
Mother's Day. Oh, no, actually, next weekend I have a marriage, and the weekend after that.
You're getting married?
You're getting
No,
married
I'm not
next
getting
weekend?
married, but somebody I know is.
I was going to get my tux ready.
Sorry.
Tell me,
okay,
Dave, we're going to be there?
AJ, you're getting married next weekend?
No,
and
I thought
you
Fred
invited
was.
Fred and not me. All right, so we have some extra tickets then. So, AJ, you and I will be going to see Johnny North wrestle.
Well, we got to. It's a big event. Muscles Marco. What do you mean what time it's at? It doesn't matter what time. Tell
7
your
o'clock
girlfriend that you're
next
going.
Saturday.
Marco, you want me to call your woman? I'll call her right
All
now.
right, so we got... No, we can't do that.
You can't...
No, we only have one extra ticket for you, Marco. You can't bring your son. Luca Brazzi has to stay home.
Is there a minimum age for these kind of things?
There might be. It's
there is alcohol.
Johnny North gets pretty hardcore.
He does.
Listen to Johnny North tomorrow night here at 7 p.m. on TSN 690 for Wrestling Uncensored, the pro wrestling show. I'll be back here tomorrow. WrestlingUncensored.net, RingsideReport.net, YouTube.com/RingsideReport.net.
Does Johnny get all oiled up again?
He always gets oiled up, brother.
It's X-rated, Marco. You can't bring your kid.
Follow AJ on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Bruck. Follow Marco at Marco Muscles. Follow Fred at Freddie MMA. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. Follow at Ringside Report on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Ooh.
For Marco, for Fred, for AJ, I'm Dave. This has been Ringside Report Radio.